Hey guys, Jay Hoyt here. Before we get into today's video, I just wanted to say a ton of you guys are not subscribed to my channel. It's free. Please do it. It helps me out a ton. We're trying to hit our goal of eventually 1,000 subscribers. You know, we're still a bit way there, but we are getting very close to that 200 subscriber mark. I believe we're about 15 away. So if you can, hit that subscribe button. I definitely appreciate it. But we got some Black Ops Cold War beta. Let's get right into it. What's going on, guys? Jay Hoyt back with you today. Welcome back to some Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. We got some more beta gameplay for you. Full game doesn't release for another week or so, 2 weeks from when I'm recording this. We're rocking the XM4 in this one, but as you saw in the last two videos, we're kind of breaking up the different parts of the beta and kind of talking about each individual segment of that. This one happens to fall around the maps. So the maps that we had in the beta, right? We have, I believe this is called Satellite, is the one we're currently playing on. There was Moscow, I believe that was the name. I'm so bad at names. Moscow, Miami, and I'm forgetting the other one, Cartel, right? Those were the 4 maps that we had in the beta. Now, if you didn't play the beta or haven't seen them, I did try to upload some of them. If not, obviously go look at, some other creators, or even on, Google or whatever else, or just play the game in a couple of weeks when it comes out. But if you look at this map, right, we're strictly talking about maps, how they play, all of that fun stuff. So this map, a lot of caves, a lot of valleys, a lot of really weird routes that you can take on this map. And then on the other side of the map, you have a big sand dune or whatever, lots of sand that has really weird trails and everything. So personally, my opinion on maps is you look at competitive, right? I'm a competitive player at heart, and I always want the best competitive maps, right? Very rarely do I enjoy maps that are not in the competitive rule set or in the competitive map pool, if you will. And when you look at some of the best maps over the time, or most legendary maps, usually they're the competitive maps. Very, very rarely is there a good map that's not a competitive map, for the pro scene. And last year, I don't know if we want to count Modern Warfare, but you looked at Black Ops 4, you had maps like Arsenal, right? If you didn't remember that map, basically 3 lanes. You had one side, you had the whole middle, and then there was the other side. There wasn't a million buildings, there wasn't tons of windows, there wasn't doors. I mean, there is doors in that game, but there's sliding doors. They make a sound, whatever. But there's not all that stuff that was in Modern Warfare, right? There was a 3-lane map, it had good hardpoint, had good control, and overall it was a fantastic map. Although haven't really performed the best on it, it's still a pretty decent map. But then you want to translate, obviously different game, but you look at this map, right? We already kind of touched on it. There's too many valleys, too many angles. It's really hard to see people on this map. Now, don't get me wrong, these maps look fantastic, right? They're really good looking. I don't know who made them, but whoever made them put in lots of work to make all of the rocks and the sand and all the effects and everything look, great. For casual gaming, it's probably great. For some people, it might be their favorite map. But myself personally, like I said, I want the best competitive map. I don't care if I go positive or negative or win the map, lose the map. Doesn't matter. I just want a good competitive map, because if I can choose the map, and this is one of them, I'm not choosing this map, right? I'll leave the game, back out of the lobby. But I don't want to play bad maps. So I know obviously they can't have perfect maps all the time, but obviously I expected a little bit better from what these maps are. Next, you had the map Miami. Now, Miami nightclub, Miami, right in Florida. That nightclub, club, whatever vibe is there, right? You can hear the music. They have the different rooms. The only problem is there's almost too much on the outside and not enough through the middle of that map. So you have buildings, you have back alleyways, but there's too much to it, right? There's a map, the whole big street is basically wide open. You can run down the middle. It's a sniper's paradise, if you will, and just not a fun map. The points were a little weird of where the spawns were. Obviously, it's a beta. Can't really judge too much on that one. But there was just, I don't know, I just didn't really enjoy that map. It just didn't really play well. The map wasn't balanced from one side to the other. Obviously, you had a lower part where there was parts in the ocean or in water. I don't know if it was a lake or whatever, but just didn't play well. Personally, I performed well on it, but it just didn't feel well. I didn't really enjoy myself playing it, and it just all around was just not a really good map at all. Then you look at the map Cartel. Now, Cartel, a landscaper has never been to that map, and if you don't know what I mean, if you didn't play it, basically the middle of the map is full of bushes or grass or plants, or I don't even know what they are, but they're just extremely hard to see. If you're running through them, you can't see people. Very rarely, and unless you're in between the two bushes, like the rows of bushes, or I'm gonna call them bushes, I don't know what they're called, but in between those two bushes, you can't see anything, right? People like to hide in them, especially around hard points, or I should say the hard point, control points, domination points, whatever it may be. They love to just hide in the grass and watch a lane. And for someone that wants to run around and enjoy the game and play that objective and get the win, obviously when someone's just hiding in the grass, it doesn't really help. So if they did cut those bushes down or just made one row of them, it'd be a little bit different. But there was probably 10 rows of them in the middle of the map, so you couldn't really see anything. And then again, just like the map they're playing right now, Satellite, that map has a lot of elevation change. Now what I mean by that is when you look at the highest point of the map and the lowest point of the map, right? I want that to be on the same level. Now if it's a little bit different, okay, right? Obviously maps have to be made not just on a flat surface, but we have to have that pretty much flat surface, right? This map, you can see a bunch of different valleys and trails and whatever you want to call them. There's tons of them, especially on the map Cartel. From the top of the map to the bottom of the map, it's just really weird, especially when the middle of the map is probably the highest point of the map. That's not good, right? Especially when all those bushes are there. You go into the big warehouse, and then it's kind of really hard to see people in there. So maybe if they blew a hole in the top of it, then you could have some light in there so you could see it. I don't know. But then, like I said, you run through the middle of the map, you get all those bushes. Then you want to go to the bottom of the map, and it's extremely low. It's completely way under, the main part of the map, and obviously rocks, and it's kind of hard to see there too. And just overall, that map, it would play decent, decent at best, if it was, the bushes were trimmed and the top of the map and bottom of the map weren't so far off. But I don't know. I just didn't enjoy that map at all. Matter of fact, these maps were really questionable, if you ask me. But the last map I wanted to touch in this one is going to be Moscow. Now this is the one that could be argued was the best map of the beta. Obviously everyone has their own opinion, but this one, I don't know. I just didn't like the layout of it. I hate to just hate on all the maps, but this one just didn't play well. And obviously, usually beta maps are the ones that they spend the most time on, at least to start, and they kind of just get those few maps out there, and usually they never end up in the competitive cycle. Very rarely do they. But this one just didn't play well, in my opinion. There wasn't a good, balance of the map. There was a street with, some cars. Okay, decent, but they had really weird elevation changes. And you had a couple of windows you could stare across. But then just all the middle of the map felt really weird. If we could get, a good push going, because there's too much stuff you have to check and go through, and just, I don't know. It didn't play well. I didn't personally enjoy it. And, obviously, I hope the full release has better maps, which it should, because then you'll have all the maps. But that map also has a really big, I'll call it a hallway. It's almost like a corridor type thing. But then it has a big room on the right that almost looks fake. but then I think it has like glass panes that you can actually walk through, and it's a different part of the map, and it's part of the normal spot you go. It's not like it's a glitch or anything, but I don't understand why you'd put a big room off of a corridor and not just like through one doorway. Like, just, I don't know. It was really weird because every time I go through there, I'm like, oh yeah, this is just a corridor to lead to the middle of the map or wherever I went to, and it just, I don't know. It just didn't play well in my opinion. But Josh, you can't just bash on the maps and not give any suggestions. Well, that's what the end of the video is for. So when you look at the past maps, what I want out of a map for Call of Duty, right? I don't expect just plain Jane, rectangle, 3 lanes that are all square, and, you know, a couple, like a building here and there and what. No, right? I just want a relatively flat map that makes sense, like obviously with the design of it, and I want it to play well, right? I want, you know, the developers to realize when people are playing the game, okay, it's too hard to break this hard point when you're the defending team or you're not in the hill or whatever, and you might want to change that the zone a little bit, right? Move it up or whichever way to make it have more sense. Same thing with control. There's a lot of maps, at least from Black Ops 4, that would play a lot better if the control or hard point was moved, and it would definitely make casual a lot better, it'd make competitive a lot better, and overall I just want a good experience for all players that enjoy playing Call of Duty. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, hit that like button down below. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and as always, guys, see you in the next one.